Good morning, a beautiful day, a beautiful week. Thank you so much for choosing the National Broadcaster and making time to join us as we continue with a lovely series. We're celebrating the women in various sectors where they do operate. It's a great journey, I should say, and we're still in transit, by the way. Not only the women in health, the women in ICT, the women at home, the working women, the women in various spaces. We're here to celebrate each and every woman out there, find out what's lacking, how can they have a conducive environment to transact, and what are some of the innovations, or how has been their journey. Listening to such stories, inspiration coming through for the young girls out there, the young ladies who haven't figured it out, trying to place their best foot forward. Such conversation do work for us every single morning. That is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from the hour of 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. right here at the biggest network. And we're coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Well, this morning I am so happy. It's quite amazing. I have a great panel. I am having beautiful, brilliant, super women. Each has a different story to tell. Each has different, I cannot figure myself being placed into their shoes, but they're working out and they're wonderful women and they're doing excellent work. And I am sure at the end of the episode, you'll have picked at least one or two things, find something to pocket as enjoy your day, and reflect on where you can be best positioned to inspire and, of course, add value, not forgetting the economic value of our nation, Uganda. Well, let me introduce my panel to you. Just next to me, okay, let me just do it in general. This morning, I am joined by Maureen Angena, Development Communications Specialist and Technologist. I also have Peace Monica, Founder and Executive Director, Nile Girls Forum. This morning, I'm also joined by Hope Kayeni. I hope I have the right pronunciation. She'll be letting me know. She's a business front exchad. Great stuff. Then this morning, we shall also be joined later on, in a few minutes from now, Sheila Mpora Murungi. She's the founder of Shield Africa. She'll be joining us shortly. Well, it's time for me to unveil my panel. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Sandra.
Good to have your company.
Thank you.
Okay. I will not ask who goes first. let me start at the extreme end. Yes.
Hello, my name is Hope Kayen. I'm the owner of Fruit Extract Hair Products. We do beauty products for skin and for hair for people that have like African textured hair, African skin, because there's not a lot of good products for us on the market that's not loaded with chemicals. So we try to provide the solutions that are healthy and targeted specifically towards people of African descent.
Mm-hmm. African women, African men doing organic, that is bobo for you. I'll just get to the next lady, Peace. How is your morning?
Thank you for having me. My name is Peace Monica, and I'm the founder and executive director of Nile Girls Forum. We're a girl-led organization that works on elevating resilient adolescent girls and young women with emphasis on leadership and governance, sexual and reproductive health and rights, climate justice, and women economic development. It's such a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you.
Wow, good stuff. Aren't we happy to be women? Just next to me, I'm having Maureen. Maureen, how have you been? Tell us more about you.
I've been very well, just trying to rest. I was here about a month ago talking about our Africa by road trip, the 5-month road trip we did across the continent by road. And it's good to be back, and it's very amazing to be in company of these two ladies. I mean, she was talking about natural products. I could be a client. About yourself. Exactly.
Very true.
Yeah, but I'm a development communication specialist, and I was intrigued when I saw women in ICT because I'm an information systems specialist by training. And yeah, I'm very interested and very passionate issues technology for women. I'm happy to be on the program.
There's nothing like those positions are for men.
No,
it's a male-dominated
space. It is.
They're taking up most of the managerial positions. They don't trust us because at the end of the day we have to consult them.
I think those are misconceptions, but we'll talk about them.
Okay.
Yes.
And there are lots of complaints coming through. They don't have role models in that particular field.
Yes.
Those are some of the stories we've been hearing.
Yes.
Well, not only the journey that you've been having, being on the road, and you're getting rested, but how has your journey been like, especially in the field that you operate in?
I think it's been a change of career along the way, because like I said, by training, I did information technology, then I did information systems, then I went and did development communication. So I'm literally practicing the last degree that I studied. But about 10 years ago, we were at the forefront of trying to push the agenda of bridging the digital divide in Uganda. And we started initiatives like the Women in Technology, Girl Geek. We used to do mapping at some of the hubs, Hive Collab, Outbox Hub. Like we'd call young ladies and tell them, let's sit down and map the places we like to go to, saloons, supermarkets, and all that. But the whole point was really to encourage people to participate and be involved in technology. And very many of those young women have been taken up by really so many international organizations, ThoughtWorks, Google, and all that. And for me, it gives me so much pride. Another thing was really being part of the formation of ICT Association of Uganda as some of the founding members. And to see that growth continue is very fulfilling. Of course, like I said, with time, I moved a bit away from the core technology space and went into development communication because there was a gap there also. Yeah.
Okay, now the journey on the road. That was a bit professional.
Okay.
The journey on the road.
The journey on the road was really about having a career break. You know, from university, it's been work, and, you know, chasing the dollar, chasing the money. And so, you know, I just thought and said, what can I do to rest? I mean, I've traveled around the country, I've traveled around Uganda, I've done consultancies around the continent, but I still do not understand my continent. So together with my husband, we said, you know what, we stop work, pack our things into a car, and just start the journey. And that took us to 13 countries in Southern and Eastern Africa over a period of 5 years. I mean, of 5 months, sorry.
5 months.
Yes, a period of 5 months. And to tell you that it was amazing would be an understatement. It was a lesson in its own right. It was like being at university for those 3 years and learning, you know, so much.
Every day having
learning.
a different course unit.
Exactly, and unlearning and relearning and, you know, getting rid of misconceptions and stereotypes and understanding the challenges that exist across all these regions.
Some experience. I told you earlier on I could not fit in their shoes. Well, that was a brilliant idea, and I'm sure you have a lot to share when it comes to innovation and what you checked out there, the challenges. I'll just get to get to her. She deals with girls as well. How has it been like for you, the journey? How come you took that particular path?
Thank you so much. So personally, I began Nile Girls Forum in 2018, and that was right after the university. I was at Victoria University, and just in the Ugandan system, I realized when it comes to placements and internships, it can get quite hard on the students. So my internship was basically in a bank, and yet I was actually doing procurement and logistics. So you'd realize that even the positioning of that internship was not something that was going to add, let me say, value to the kind of work that I was doing. But all this time at the university, I had a passion from the inside of me that I wanted to be a change agent in the community, and let alone living in the nurses' quarters from, I think, since I was born. So, and not just in nurses' quarter in the city, but in the deepest part of West Nile in Zombo district. So the things I could relate with were totally different from what I was studying in the classroom. So in 2018, that is when I took it upon myself and I shared it with my mom. And I said, you know what, I want to start an organization that elevates girls and women. And that is how Nile Girls Forum was born. I potentially did not even have experience in this field of, you know, social work and all that, but it was that desire. And I think that is one thing that young people have, and women in particular, we always look at breaking those glass ceilings. So I started the organization, and currently what we do is we work with young women and adolescent girls in their diversities. And the two that we have really been keen on are young women affected by displacement And here we're looking at these young women that have been displaced in the communities of West Nile, because you daily know that West Nile is the largest refugee hosting community in Uganda in particular, and across the globe you'd find Uganda still among the top 3 in hosting refugees across. So that was just one thing that as an organization we're intentional on, but also young women with disabilities, because you get to realize that as much as we just talk about women in general, we do not oftentimes appreciate the diversity of these young women. So as much as in Nile Girls Forum we have 2 homegrown programs. One is the Peer Pulse program that ensures that women have agency in a way that they're able to be at decision-making spaces, but not just be, but meaningfully engage in these processes. And so we realize that even as they claim for their sexual reproductive health, for climate justice, for economic development, but then if the aspect of livelihood is left behind, then definitely, you know, a woman is not able to thrive. And that is how we came up with the Rejesha program. So Rejesha is basically about renewing hope of these young women to get into economic empowerment spaces, because we realize that issues of economic development of women is a human rights issue and a social justice issue. So as much as we're saying you need to have access to health facilities, imagine for a woman who does not even have the money to transport her to the nearest health facility, or even when they get to that facility and they need, for example, to buy Panadol or whatever medication that has been prescribed. So we believe that when you give women that access to finances, access to be able to start up businesses, then they are able to thrive in very many other spaces. But also, we just don't only go to these communities and say, you can get empowered, you can start a business. We walk the journey with them. So under this Rejesha program, we are able to identify what, for example, these girls and women in these communities we serve actually need. So after we have mapped out their needs, then we are able to partner with different institutions that have that expertise. And previously we also worked with Outbox under the NSSF High Innovator to engage young women in all these spaces. And so what happened is that you'd be amazed how women have brilliant ideas, and you can just tell from this panel over here that women are there to stay, and that they're willing to break all these barriers.
In whichever area you place them,
exactly.
they're best positioned.
Yeah. Exactly. And so under this program, we are able to link them to markets, because training them in these different things is one thing, but having access to the market and also being relevant in the kind of businesses they're doing. So
with the findings
yes.
and the research you've done, what seems to be holding them back?
So one thing is that from the interactions we have had with some of these young women, you realize that when you go to a community and you ask young women what skills would you want to be trained in, it's either tailoring or it's hair plaiting, salon work. So most times they're not thinking out of the box, but also you'd realize that for a community where I come from in Zombo district, if you're a tailor and you're based, for example, in War sub-county, you'd realize that if I'm to make a shirt like this, someone is going to buy it maybe at 10,000. But how about you make out baskets that, you know, the community can actually also be able to purchase? So it's just about also understanding the market trends, and I think that has been one of the biggest challenges.
Not like the sympathy vote that we usually give ourselves, and we're like, we cannot handle that, it's for the men.
Exactly. So you cannot see my sister here, she's into the ICT and all that. So basically, even when we went to these communities, some of these girls were giving us ideas of, I'd want to be a mechanic. And you know, ideally when you go there, you're thinking, oh, maybe it's basket weaving, maybe it's tailoring, maybe it's salon work. Yes, exactly.
It's a stereotype.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the stereotype I think she's really trying to break, which is commendable.
Yeah, that's right. Because you know, with all this kind of work we do, it's still very key that you see things like patriarchy are on the rise, because in these communities, that's why you'd find these young women who will tell you, I can only plait hair. But then,
but with how far you've gone, is there a green light, or are you just optimistic along the way?
absolutely, there is green light, because we have, like I said, young women among the Peer Pulse movement and the Rejesha program that are actually already starting up to get into these spaces of where they can be the mechanics they have desired to be.
Quite exciting. I'm thinking someone out there was already watching who wants to take part.
Absolutely.
It's free, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
You know, Africans are free things.
Yes, it is.
Well, thanks for lifting the girls up. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You really have a lot to share. Hope right there is already has invested in something, and I'm sure the ladies out there, you're employed. 5 years, 10 years down the road, you want to be the CEO, you want to do something for yourself. There are lessons learned. You're the CEO, but you quickly want to pay yourself. Get that beautiful car. How has business been like for you? How come you took that particular path? You're building Uganda, you're keeping it organic?
Yeah. The reason why I went into the beauty business, it's like a personal thing for me. I grew up having like bad hair, what they call bad hair.
The PQ kind? They usually call it PQ.
No, not even that, because it was not sparse and like brown or anything, but it just was stunted, it couldn't grow. Yeah, and unfortunately, like, I was growing hair since high school, because like Taiba International, they allow you to have hair and stuff. So every time you take out your hair, everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with your hair? It's so bad. So I grew up even going to the salon and everyone is telling me my hair is so bad. So it was something that I needed to solve. So when I went to Malaysia in university, I specifically decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure my hair changes. So I started doing my research, did short courses here and there, YouTube, and I was like, I want to figure out a way that can transform my hair. So I used these things and my hair transformed, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, are you the Hope with a bad hair? As in, we
So
need to
it was a personal solution,
yes,
but later on help the community.
Yes, so everybody saw my hair, everybody wanted their hair to look like mine, and I came back and my dad was like, you should go to Yuri. They help people, like, you know, help perfect their formula, preserve it for longer shelf life. So I went to Yuri, that was 2017, yeah. And then we started producing and selling the products. Then it really picked up during COVID, because people are at home, they have time to take care of their hair. And then when they opened down the doors of lockdown, I don't know how else to say it, people were like, we were tired of what, doing our hair from home, you should open up a salon. So I opened up a salon. But our salon is not just an ordinary salon, we also train women and empower them to have those skills within the beauty industry. So if someone wants to learn how to do hair, they want to learn how to do makeup, all that stuff, women, we accept women of all ages, because we are trying to just empower women to be able to have skills that can ready them for the job market.
Interesting story. Unique challenges out there, finding a solution for yourself. Someone out there, there's a lady who shared that it was a hassle for her to get soap, the washing soap. She was like, now I have children, I have to wash for them. And you know, the cost of soap is rising up more than that of a Benson or bucket. What should I do? So the solution was to learn how to make that bar soap, the washing soap. So at the end of the day, she's earning from it.
Wow.
Well, that's a very good story, Hope. Well, for the viewer out there, I did promise we're going to be joined by Sheila later in a few minutes during the show, and she has joined us. Sheila, the extreme end. That's Sheila for you. You're most welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
Thanks for making time.
You're welcome.
I know women are always around the clock, eh?
I'm very impressed about what women are doing.
Please tell us more about you and how your journey has been like.
Yes.
Here we have we have great women. Hope is right there for you, and having Peace just here, and Maureen.
And then you have Sheila. Once again, Sheila Mpora from Sheila Africa Group of Companies Limited. Professionally, I'm a computer scientist. An intake of my career 2008. Wow. And my motivation to driving ICT in the business sector originates from my personal experience. This is a groundbreaking news. I am a bipolar patient. But having been discovered that way, gave me shock and last chance to my dreams. But I also have to reveal that I'm born again and God healed me.
Amazing.
And that was my beginning journey to the dreams that I'll ever want in life. So for the starters, as an intake admitted women in technology 2008, I graduated in 2019. What a shock. Many people discouraged that dream because there is no, in the record, if you can research, if there is any bipolar patient that can go as far as I am. I'm a straight A student, and you can congratulate me. I won a scholarship to Harvard, and I'm going to do connected learning in administrative law.
Wow, beautiful.
So for me, that is like a dream come true because many have not believed in me. And even the patients I represent as an example or a body, they can tell you that their dreams have been shattered for a long time. Yeah, but for me, being a straight A and graduate, it doesn't matter the 7 years. I'm an embodiment of science, especially in bachelor's of computer science and mastered in software engineering. And now a candidate of the Harvard. So for me, it may seem like foreign or braggative, but for me, it's a dream come true because many things were discouraged in that making. So I'm so happy to even be here because your stories, they're not only inspiring me because I've done literally everything you've done. And that's like little work for me. Like, I mean, here, look at me. I mean, I have experience of every embodiment you have, so that's not work for me. So for me, I loved technology because we're misrepresented, Sandra. I know that you know that.
Yeah.
So for me, and I've been in different academies, the TEF, I'm a candidate for the Tommy Elumelu Foundation, and that gives me an access for $5,000. I'm also a candidate for the NSSF. I tried the first time and didn't qualify because under stress, I get to bring back, to mutate the chemical imbalance of my issue. So I failed, but they announced another intake, which I'm a candidate under Women in Technology. So it gives me access to 200, I think it's 20K US dollars, and it's starting this August.
Tell me about that campaign. Women are right there.
And
working on those modules
and
like
as
nothing.
if that's not enough, sorry to interrupt, I am the brand ambassador for the Startup Initiative Innovation with the International Trade Center in partnership with Hive Collab. So I've been advocating. You can go to our YouTube channel if you want a course that is freely paid by the international bodies. That's available. And on top of that, I'm the business development director for Omnitech. And we fall under the category of ICT in partnership with intelligent technologies called Cassava Technologies. And I'm now on the International Business Network Forum in Uganda, which takes place every Friday at Fairway. So I think what I can give these people that are trying is access to everything I know freely. So I'm so happy to be discovered by you because I'm really private. I told Joshua often that I don't want to be involved in Ugandan business. They stress me. But I got to be reminded by my own understanding that I'm a Ugandan born and bred.
An inspiration to many.
And a representative for East African Forum for Francophone and Anglophone SMEs and entrepreneurs in Africa. And the African Union. So for me, that is also a reminder that I'm not a white. So I'm back
we
home.
also need you. We need a portion of you.
You need a portion of me with...
There's so many young girls out there who are coming up, and you're quite a great inspiration. Unique
Thanks.
challenges you've gone through, amazing journey. Congratulations to Sheila.
Congratulations.
I know someone out there is thinking so hard, and I'm like, oh my God. How does she balance, you know? She has achieved quite a number of issues out there coming through the barriers.
Yeah, I can tell you how I balance. You know, scientists, we are always practical. And I work closely in partnership with Innovent Labs Africa, Lumumba Avenue. You can visit us for more details. So under different professors, I became a specimen for this very chemical imbalance, and I've been vetted and tried I don't know how many times. You can ask Professor Musisi Sagen. I've always been the specimen that successfully writes, completely delivered, and drug holiday, try again, drug holiday. I think now I have to say I'm a drug holiday forever for this syndrome, using technology as my enabler in this sickness. Yeah, I can teach you more about in case you know people. Of course, it's just a chemical imbalance. It's not a disease that is hereditary. Well, the research can also say that. But the one that I know is that it has no cure. It's just a chemical imbalance where you have two polars operating at their extremes, what you can call genius syndrome. Yeah, so for me, this is a world record, really. So you can always keep reading about me, but I think I want to just keep African and Ugandan at that. So that's why I'm using technology to enable everybody in Africa. Yes.
So that's much of what you do in the foundation.
Yeah, and it's not a foundation, it's a group of companies, and it's a hub, and it's in Africa. And one of the records that we have is the Sheelite Farms. And we participated in the High Innovator, where we are the candidate of that project, Sheelite Teas and Beverages, where we use science, technology, fruits, organic chemicals, because we are like not only indigenous, we are like German Shepherds, we are like Brooklyn, and that's what Ugandans do. You mix a lot and mingle, and you lose yourself sometimes. So you need a specimen like me to show you the way, and that's what I'm doing at the Sheelite Farms. We have products, 7 products. They are antioxidants, and my inspiration comes from my grandfather who succumbed to cancer, and 2 months ago my brother who succumbed to cancer at 40 years. So every time I see a case of loss, it's an inspiration to remember this dream. So it's in loving memory. So Sheelite Group Africa has so many lab tests and trials. You could come and be a candidate for what you want to try. We do not need any support right now. All we need is just a connected empowerment as a capacity building organization. Yes.
Okay, she's into technology.
Yes.
She's, oh wow.
No,
Maureen as well,
I'm
please.
humbled. I mean, she wasn't here
Feel
when I
free.
was introducing myself, but I'm humbled to hear, you know, products of some of these things we fought so hard for. Hive Collab, Innovation Village, Outbox Hub, all these hubs, Women in Technology, Girl Geeks, there were so many, the hackathons and innovation challenges that were put up by all these telecoms, and being a mentor sometimes, being a judge, and you know, so many years later, over 10 years later, you're hearing amazing stories like hers. I mean, it's
having a
very
testimony.
unique. Yeah, testimony. So, and you know, being someone in technology, I mean, I did human and computer design. So when I hear her talk so passionately about technology, I understand that feeling and how
By the way, this is my
technology
human
is
hair.
an enabler.
Hey.
Oh, really?
I'd love to touch and feel.
Yeah, so that's why I was really nodding and you know, I'm in awe of her strength and the resilience and the passion,
the zeal.
you know, and the fact that you know, she knows what she wants and she's going for it, you know, and she's taking people along with that. So for me, it's an amazing testimony.
Well, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, the girls out there, I know they're trying to figure it out. Which course can I get to do? I have my, you know, my products. You know, I work from home. Yeah. How can I be able to get those of the 20,000 she's talking about? They're feeling all those modules and working out to find a way to be even the parents out there. Yeah. You have to do law. You have to do the doctor course. That is what we do in our family. You know, trying to push them to get to such paths that they're not interested in and not even passionate about. And the young girls out there are trying to be like, some of the softwares I cannot manage, you know, when it comes to ICT itself.
Programming and all
yes.
Yeah.
They're like, it's too much, it's for the men. We don't even have the time. You know, I have to be home. I'm a mom, I'm a what? You know, all those excuses come through. Yeah. What have you had? What are their stories?
I think I'll go first. Maybe they'll also have their opinion. Like I said in the beginning, there are so many stereotypes around gender. And there have to be people who have to break these stereotypes one at a time. I'll give you an example. My experience, I told you we went for a trip, a 5-month trip. We were driving a Land Rover Defender, very manual, old car. And every time I drove, there was, even here in Kampala, even this morning as I was coming here, there's always this look like, no, it can't be you driving this kind of car. So meaning I've already been boxed, you know. You're supposed to, you know, women are looked at as, you know, you're very soft.
You need to have the cavities,
exactly. That kind of mindset has to change. And it takes one woman at a time, like she was sharing that. One person at a time. You're telling someone, do tailoring, and they're saying, but I want to be a mechanic. I'll tell you, for instance, my background was technology. There's a time I took 3 months off. I registered in a garage here in Uganda, in Kampala here, voluntarily. I went to a garage to fix cars.
They were like, it's weird.
It was so weird. I can tell you the owner of that garage first looked at me and said, what's your agenda? Are you a spy? Are you coming to divert my mechanics here? It was very offensive, but you see, I knew what I wanted. And I can tell you, Sandra, I can never get stuck on the road. I can fix my car myself. But I had to take that time to volunteer. I would work with these men, they get paid, and I would tell him, no, don't pay me. I'm here to learn and to help.
You had to put away the lipstick and the heels.
Nothing. And like
get yourself,
I'm her client. I'm a very natural person.
Get your hands dirty.
Yeah, I'm a very natural person. So for parents out there, I can tell you the world has changed. You know, there are courses that you insist on. The problem is systemic. It starts from home. There is a role the society plays. There is a role higher institutions of learning play. So at home, your parents are telling you, study engineering, study architecture, be a doctor. To be easier for you to get into the job market. You can't be a journalist. Those are rumor mongers.
You know what else are you going to do after that?
Exactly. Then you go to the communities also judging you. How can you study nursing? You know, why don't you, how can you study agriculture, for instance? Then you go to the universities. They put those cutoff points, you know, and then you find, like, let's say in faculties of agriculture, students feel like they're in those courses as last options. But then when they're out, the universities are churning out thousands of graduates. And guess where the jobs are? They're in technology, they're in what she was talking about, you know, social works, working with refugees, something totally different from what you studied. So I think parents need to evolve as the times also change, you know. Let children be, see the passion she followed. She's making money out of her passion from something that inspired her to find a solution to her hair problem. But she said she studied in Malaysia. She could have done so many other things in those are
she could have started a boutique, go and work, you know, go work somewhere else.
She could have been an architect, you know. But I mean, look around and see, and without downplaying any profession. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, you just need to pay your bills. That's it. Cause impact, but pay your bills. So I think it's important that society, families, and institutions of learning work together, try and encourage children to do what they desire. Now, speaking about bills, you're a working woman, you get home late. I mean, he's already there waiting for you. You do the same today, you're coming home late. I know you can pay the bills. He's also getting worried. Again, those are the stereotypes.
Yes.
I'll tell you. The times have changed. These days, even those men don't want stay-home moms. What are you putting on the table?
I know.
I mean, you went to university like I did. We sat in the same class. We did computer science together.
And you're back home.
And you're back home and you're just sitting, unless it's a
and
mutual
you're waiting
agreement.
for Kameza.
Exactly, you're waiting for money, you're asking for money for everything. So what was the whole point of you going to school? Again, like I said, for some people it's a mutual agreement. They agree to do that. But even beyond a relationship, a marital relationship, you as an individual, there are people who invested in you. And we always talk about the black tax, quote unquote, because it's through that investment in you that others can benefit. So how do you help those who invested in you? You know, when you're so clogged like that. So there are issues of contention, but I mean, with changing times, a lot has changed, honestly.
Beautiful. Well, Peace, what's your take? Because I know there's so many women out there who are watching, and they want to be best blessed, right? Putting your best foot forward with the experience and the stories you've had from different girls out there. What advice would you share with them?
Particularly, I would say, because I'm really passionate about women getting into decision-making spaces. And oftentimes, when we're having this discussion here, I just recalled last week we were for a youth consultation for the East and the Horn of Africa. And I happened to be a youth delegate from Uganda, and we were really sharing about how young people in general and women can get onto these decision-making spaces. And this was a consultation on governance, peace and security. So you can imagine, even for such a conversation, it's always, you know, men at that table to have those decisions passed. But even when we were in that room, one thing I realized about her sharing in that space was that as women, there are very many times we do not get into even business because we lack capacity. And I think that is one thing that enables us to meaningfully participate. Because if I do not know what the ICT trends are or what frameworks are at regional or even continental level, then I'm not able to even, for example, trade outside of Uganda.
Let me interrupt you. And that starts from a policy level. Why are women lacking capacity? That is the question. When I hear the word empowerment, what makes you think that these people are not empowered enough?
It's a daily song.
You know, those are the questions you have to ask. Why aren't women at the positions of decision making? It comes back to policy, and that's why some of the things you can't do them in isolation. You can hate government, you can abuse government all you want, but let me tell you, it's government that puts all the things. And when she says that such having such conversations at that level, it's very important. But always, you just go back and ask why. Where is the gap in the policy?
So yourself right here, because it's a national broadcaster, His Excellency could be watching. Or maybe the ministry in charge, ICT. Let's address them. Let's air out our issues. Sheila has something to add on.
Thank you very much for your submission. And I want to interject a little bit. I think we have natural capacity as women or men. It's just that men get daring extra. And for us,
They
we
put
are
on
just
the
bound by
hard skin.
personal beliefs, lack of knowledge, because it will be that stereotypes come because you don't know who you are, so you're trying to act another person. So should you learn who you are as an African woman, you're well represented equally by God, even as men.
You don't want to be better, like say your spouse, be better than him?
Why would you
stand
not?
out?
You don't have to compete with your spouse.
You have your brothers, and you're like, no, I can do this better.
Your connected company to growth, but sometimes you just want to stereotype because you don't know who you are. So I think we should just invest in knowledge, wisdom, and for a long time, women have worked in dissections. If we can just work
Find
together.
a common ground.
Like Sandra, you have a very good program here. I didn't know about it. I always thought UBC is casting wrong information about Uganda. I happen to have been given a chance to travel the world, and I know very many things that people are doing out there that are amazing. That's why perhaps the excellency goes and gets expertise out, because here we are not organized. We don't want to work together. Don't want to reveal each other.
You walk into the reception, you find a lady,
that are known,
and she gives you an attitude.
Yeah, the only people that are known that know things are from Asia, from everywhere.
That is why they want to travel and go and work.
Exactly.
They want to go work elsewhere.
We are busy saying, she's going to take my job. Or why is she taking your job? Because you're not doing well on your job, okay? So I think we should just invest in knowledge well enough and get access to travel everywhere and see what others are doing. And on that matter, I'm going to Ghana on the 3rd, and I think I'll take you so that we go see what Ghanaians are doing.
She loves traveling.
Representative for East Africa. Then we come and do something together here.
Yes, you come back here, you give us feedback. We need to have
I think.
we need to have a follow-up conversation.
But what I'm trying to say, we don't have to stereotype. We have to be ourselves. And maybe another thing which I think is the issue is that for a long time, Uganda is definitely the Pearl of Africa, but we've given access to literally everyone. You know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but I think we need to do a reinvention of what it means to be a landlocked country and the Pearl, and protect ourselves better.
Instead of
cybersecurity, online governance has been abused. There's no laws that are governing it to the extreme. So anyone can spread information about a country anyhow, gays, etc. So, sorry about that. But I mean, like, we just need to make sure we are well protected in the security, in the cloud computing technologies. I don't know if I'm losing some of you. I'm sorry, I'm studied well enough.
Comes back to policy.
Yes, exactly. It comes back to policy, but who is making them versus who is fearing to make them? Because as I was coming here, I started getting anxiety, panics. And the person who told me, who invited me here said, but you can speak. You've been speaking to me. Why are you thinking you should go and I should go and be the one speaking on your behalf? I said, I'm scared. So when you are there in your dining room, you are dancing and speaking about cybersecurity.
Before the mirror.
ICT, you posted on your WhatsApp, but you reached the stage and started shivering. Why? Because you do know the access you have. You've all been locked in yourself, into yourself with pride and every other knowledge you know. You think that that's all your cup can fill. So why you're stereotyping is because you now begin to see that the cup is actually supposed to be opened. Because maybe people have been keeping telling you that this is all you can do, just like me. So people, my issue cannot study sciences. As a matter of fact, I have only brothers. I have just one true sister, and others are fostered. So I've always been looked at from my family.
The vulnerable?
Not only the vulnerable, because as the last one for 6 years, so I get to feel out of place. The only people I can copy were in my...
They just put you there, the beautiful?
Yes, by the time my new brother comes, I only know mom and dad issues. The other ones are a bit older and they're boys. So I keep thinking, I think I have a problem. So I go to the psychiatrist and then they vet you, problematic. So what do you believe? You believe only that, their reports. You get it. So I think we need to give ourselves access beyond what we know, and we should do that with intentionality and protection, because we can go extra beyond.
I have super women here. With the women we've had, there's no one who's like government at Riambe. I just love my women. They're well put.
And there's something that she said, and I just wanted to add on top of that, saying that a lot of us women were scared. People have told you this is how you're supposed to be. Now there's this whole new movement where people independent women, you know, they say it as almost a diss. So you must be a feminist and an independent woman. You know, they keep asking you that. So I've seen a lot of, I actually have a close friend of mine that had to close her salon, and she was like, Hope, don't you see you've been single for so long? People don't want independent women. They don't want women who are too strong. They'll feel like you're too masculine, you're always in your boss girl era, you don't have time to do this. And I get that criticism a lot. Like even like when I go to the village, my aunts are like, Hope, maybe you're not married because you work too hard, you're always working. Men don't want those things. You're going to overpower them. Don't drive your car to a death. The man will see the car you're driving. Exactly.
As if you have to overtake.
Exactly. So there is that stereotype, and every single time you try to bring out an argument, everybody's like, you're just a feminist, you're just an independent woman. Like, is that supposed to make me cry?
Hope has products. If you want to be a client, you're just going to show us some of the products that you have.
Yeah, so I have, I think, 14 products. Yeah, most of them are castor oil based because I struggled with thin hair, so most of my products are all about the thickening. They're all about thickening the hair. So I have this, it's a leave-in moisturizer. It helps with making the hair softer if you have hair that's not very soft. Then we also have an SLS free shampoo. SLS means sodium lauryl sulfate. It's a drying agent in the hair that causes breakage and dryness in the hair. Then we also have black castor oil. It's very popular in Jamaica. The most popular black castor oil is Jamaican black castor oil, and then in Uganda it's us, Forte Extract black castor oil. Yeah, then we also have some skin products. This is shea butter from West Nile. I'm from West Nile as well. My parents are born here, but my parents are from there. So we have the best shea butter in the entire country. That's us. Then for the other skin products, we also have coffee oil for people with like rough, sensitive skin. And then if you want your skin tone to be balanced, we also have the carrot oil.
We also have products, but they're in the form of courses. Because we are scientists.
Innovating.
And you can also access them from all supermarkets because some of them are UNBS certified, others are not. That's why we are running the NSSF campaign and the TEF. So just visit us really for free consultation for further details, and we will have many offers for you in terms of business training, business management, science, and proof of what you want to study. And we come from Adventist origin, Ellen G. White, and he has already done researches with estates that are amazing. Dr. Kasinene consults her. Very many people consult her. You can download these books there for free on both Android and iOS Play Store. You can download estates, you can download applications. They're for free. Just make sure you have internet, LAN, but you can also come and consult me on how you can do that.
And how can they find Sheila?
They can find Sheila at Lumumba Avenue. That's my latest address as of yesterday. Congratulations me, first of all. I happened to attend a function at Hope Nzere's home yesterday. It's a fellowship that they started, Home of Worship. You can check them out. And I was able to be given access and accreditation to some of these places that are high level. So make sure you organize yourself and come find me.
That's Sheila for you. Please feel free.
Okay, thank you so much. And for Nile Girls, we have some of our products at Fairway Hotel. You go to the place where it's written Uganda's Finest. So they are products of different women entrepreneurs. And some of those products from the young women affected by displacement and with disabilities, you can actually have access there and you'll be able to support us. But you can also follow us on our social media platforms, Nile Girls Forum on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Yes, and so these are the things that we also really ensure that these girls have the access to markets, because that is one thing that you have been highlighting, markets. So that is one of the avenues that we currently have.
Some of the products. So when they come to the socials, they can find the contacts and the location on how to get you?
Yes, so some of the products are bags, doormats, soap. Yeah, so it's quite a lot, and yeah, you can also check on our website to see some of these products and make purchases.
Yes.
Thank you.
We also have an e-commerce platform on the Sheilite.com, SheilateAfricaGroup.com.
Can you please spell that?
SHEILYD.com.
YD, because the way it sounds.
I didn't give my contact information. So across social media, we have, our name is Frotextrad, F-R-O-T, Frotextrad, yeah, Frotextured. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok as well. You can find us there. And personally, you can find me as Hope Kayeny, K-A-Y-E-N-Y, on all those social platforms as well.
Hope Kayeny.
Yeah, but we also have a physical place that acts as a salon and training space for women that want these skills. We are at Reed Complex in Tinda. room B01. Yeah, next to Kampala
training.
Independent Hospital. Yeah.
You know, we have to give out such information before
Yeah.
we are kicked out of studio.
I think, let me just interrupt. I think one thing
Please,
I
Maureen.
see from the contacts they've given, I mean, I've been too long in this business. I do consultants,
website.
so
I'll
I
write you details, yeah.
website, what, and all that. But what stands out is the fact that the bit of the ICT. You see, they all have websites, they're all on social media networks, they all YouTube channels, and you can see how ICT is an enabler in their various businesses. And you see, there's so much to share that when someone says you can find more information on our website, I mean, I'm going to check that out as soon as we finish
soon as we're
this.
done here.
I'm very interested in the refugee stories and
The products.
actually all of them, all of it. So I think that linkage of ICT, and that's why I keep emphasizing the idea of policy, make it more enabling. Okay.
For someone out there who wants to study, take your path, take Maureen's path. Yeah, it could have been an
I mean, like I said, it's really passion. When I went to do technology, I was very passionate. It was the hype. That was about 2005 when I did my bachelor's to 2008. It was the in thing. Tech was the in thing. I finished, and there's something about technology for people who have owned phones. When a new phone is released, you know, people are running for the next version.
They're not like us who just have to do the yes and the
So people are running. So it was the same feeling you had when you studied technology. You felt that you needed to upgrade. And like I told you, immediately I went to do a master's in information systems, which was artificial intelligence, human and computer interaction. I mean, like actual programming, networking. And later I joined a women's organization, started to work with women in tech, and then I realized there was a gap. People did communication, they did corporate, PR, media studies,
Swasta.
but development studies, no, I'm looking at the aspect of just communication, you know, PR, journalism, but the corporate communication, but the development communication, there was a missing link. If, for instance, she's working with refugees, how do you communicate? That's a development issue. How do you communicate specifically information like change of attitude, change of behavior to these people? People didn't know. People were after numbers, statistics, these performance indicators. If you're in the corporate world, we had this number of hits, we had this number of people attending the event, but there was not, I realized that there was a gap missing, like, you know, how do you communicate to refugees? How do you communicate to persons with disability? How do you design messages and frame them to fit that particular target audience, especially
The
development?
communities, yes.
Exactly. So that's how I went back to study development communication, and that's what I majorly consult on. And so it depends. Someone cannot, you can't use a one-size-fits-all, that Maureen did this, so I should do
So I
this.
should also follow that same path.
You can follow your own path, and along the way things change. Please never get stuck in a profession just because you studied that. People change professions even at 50 years, you know? I can study IT and I say, after 10
not the in
years,
thing.
I want to be a photographer. And I go and just start practicing photography. Or I want to be a DJ. At the end of the day, I told you it's about paying bills.
Well, we have a few minutes left. A few minutes left. Sheila, you had something to say.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to also add that, you see, what you fear is what is stopping you from reaching where you want to go. So the moment, when you always remember the excitement what you dreamed brings to your mind, if you can always remember that nostalgic feeling when you face fear, you get it? That should neutralize your way to going ahead. So when you get lost, when you meet people who are saying no to you, they don't have the same revelation in your mind, because your mind is yours alone. So if you want to reveal your mind to others, you better measure up before you reveal, because you'll be stopped, because for them, they don't have that revelation. So the moment you reveal it to them, you should be very ready to counteract or interject or not believe it.
Wow, amazing.
That's the practical bit of science.
A great summary. I cannot add on anything. Just saluting you, the viewers joined us this morning. At the extreme end, we had Sheila Mpora Murungi, founder Shield Africa. She lied.
Yeah.
Wow. And next to her, Hope Akayen, business front textured, that she has given you the address. And next to Hope, that is Peace Monica, founder and executive director, Nile Girls Forum. She has also given you the socials. You can follow her. And next to me, I am having Maureen Angena, development communication specialist and technologist. Beautiful women, brilliant women, super women, ready to work. The work. I love you too. She has good hair. I'm more like, I wish I have her hair. That's Sheila for you. Thank you so much for making time. I wish we could have you back again. They're taking a trip, so there's a follow-up conversation after the trip.
For only one person.
Only one person, but you
Others
you have
UBC can pay for them.
but you're going to come back and give us a follow-up conversation.
If UBC pays for them.
We'll continue to celebrate women. That is tomorrow, same time, same place. Wednesday, same time, same place. Keep watching the National Broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahude. God bless you. I love you too, and the women love you as well.
Thank you, Sandra.